down this alleyway here, just off this very urban setting on the outskirts of Edinburgh, something remarkable is already happening through that gate to my left. And even more remarkable things are about to happen. Let's have a look. So before we head into the back garden down there, I just want to show you this hedge, because this is of course a privet hedge, but it's clipped very densely, which means it has great nesting potential for things such as robins, blackbirds, dunnocks, maybe a song thrush, and it really is a great way of having a habitat that is on your boundary. So if you can afford to have a wild privet hedge or even a dense hedge of any sort, then it will provide a lot of good cover. And also, before we head into the back garden, I want to show you this bit of a front garden, because I just love this. Now, the clients a few weeks ago, maybe even just a couple of months ago, I think they said, they decided they weren't happy with a traditional lawn, so they completely turned it over, sowed it with a load of wildflower seeds, and the results are really starting to show. There's loads of cool stuff in here. My favourite plant, bird's foot trefoil, coming through. They've got clover, which looks to be red clover there. We've got some yarrow coming through now. We have some black medic as well, which is a secondary larval food plant for the common blue butterfly. Obviously lots of grasses have been sown as well. Looks to be some ladies' bedstraw in the middle there. They've got ribwort plantain, oxeye daisies starting to leaf up now. And actually, I don't want to tread on it, but you can see just over there the gallium coming through of the ladies' bedstraw. So really, really looking fantastic. Some yellow rattle there as well, which is going to be flowering very soon. And if I move along, you really get a feel for this now that it's starting to come into leaf. Obviously this is just going to get better in time, and rather than have just a piece of sterile mown grass, I think hats off to the clients. They've gone with the idea of having a mini wildflower meadow and letting this completely bloom, which is absolutely brilliant. I will point out as well, when you've got a hedgerow like this, you can stick some climbers in it. I mean, look at that honeysuckle. It's just rampaging up through that privet, which will do a really good job of providing a lot of nectar for things like our hawk moths, and also for providing the berries then in the autumn for birds. So a really great thing to do is add some climbers to a hedge if you can. They've also got a lovely little apple tree in this corner. I think this is a crab apple. It's got some small fruits developing on it at the moment. And then at the other end they have planted a rowan as well, to attract hopefully dozens of redwings in a very harsh winter, which they're far more likely to get here, being in Scotland and on the east coast, rather than where I am down in Lincolnshire, some nearly 6 hours away, which is several hundred miles for me to do this project. So we're going to go and have a look in the back garden now at what I'm going to be doing, but also what the clients have been doing over the last couple of years since they moved in. But yeah, hats off to them. It really is a great little front garden. They're also growing some nasturtiums as well, which will no doubt become lots of white butterfly food in no time at all. And I'm sure they won't mind that. Along with these window boxes, look at these. Aren't these gorgeous? They've got some lupins in there. And these, I think they're a type of marigold. Looking absolutely lovely. And some eryngium, some sea holly. Very, very good for bees, that one. And as we're just a stone's throw from the sea, sea's just over in that direction, barely a mile away, so it's a really, really great location. And then along this edge they are letting this red valerian, which is an absolutely brilliant plant, a great nectar plant for the hummingbird hawk moths. They're letting that sort of naturalise through this gravelly area, which of course it'll very much enjoy. And this deeper red one, Centranthus rubra, looking absolutely gorgeous too. All right, let's go take a look in the back garden now and see what we can find. Oh, and before we do, I should point out a couple of additions on the side of the house that the client put up recently. These are the Wildlife Garden Swift boxes, which they have since painted and put up on that side. There are swifts nesting a couple of doors down, so they're very hopeful that they will take to these boxes. And yeah, I was very pleased to be able to advise the client as to where these could go. They had some work done to the house recently, and the there was a chap that was working on the roof who very kindly offered to put them up. So yes, very, very good of him to do that. Okay, now starting on the right, we've got a bit of a hydrangea. That's staying because it's a good bit of cover. Hydrangeas aren't the most amazing flowers for insects, but there are some sort of hoverflies and things that will use the hydrangea, but it's a good bit of kind of evergreen cover, a bit of structure for the garden. They've also got some lesser knapweed, which is coming into flower now, which is conveniently being propped up by a fork that I got out of the shed a few moments ago, because I've had to bring my digger into this garden, and the only way in was through this gate here, which obviously is quite a tight fit. And this is a board covering a very important piece of the wildlife garden puzzle in this garden. We've put a couple of bricks in there to support the board to get the digger through. However, this is absolutely brilliant, and this is the access for not only the hedgehogs, but I was also very surprised to see it's the access for one of the young foxes that's been coming in and out of this garden and using this entranceway. Fantastic. And the client's got a really brilliant picture that I'll put a clip of in so you can see. But yes, so that is, without cutting a hole in your gate, a great way of having access for hedgehogs if you're going to do it and make access into your garden. This garden is completely walled in, so there's no other way that hedgehogs would get into the garden without drilling a big hole through to the neighbouring gardens, which the neighbours might not appreciate. But this is a great way, and it does work. The hedgehogs are coming in and out, and I'm sure we might be able to talk to the neighbours about possibly putting additional holes in these walls, although they are quite thick. A lot of the houses around here are built with very thick stone when you get into Scotland, so drilling a hole through a simple what you think might be a normal wall actually becomes a hellish job. Then we've got this Senecio Grayi, which is it's not a native, but the hoverflies absolutely love this stuff, and it's quite an attractive plant. I think that the lovely sort of grey green that brings is a really nice splash of colour, and the yellow obviously is a really lovely contrast. It almost sort of blends into the wall behind. It's a lovely old wall, which I am in talks with the clients about adding some holes to. So I would like to drill some holes in this wall for mason bees. That is a south facing wall, so we're going to be looking to drill some holes in there, which will be a really good addition to the garden. So just sticking with for a minute with what the clients have done, they've sown a bit of a wildflower mix along here last year, which is now doing very well. We've got some beautiful plants, things like this hedge bedstraw, which is coming up. We've got the geranium here, which looks to me like the native meadow cranesbill, which is a really, really good plant, good for shade. Hats off to them again. They've got some ragwort that's growing, which is obviously a larval food plant for the cinnabar moth. So very nice to see that in a border. Nice black cap singing away in the background there. They've got a hawkweed here, which I'm not 100% sure of the variety, but that's sort of flowering at the moment. These dandelions, this lovely kind of almost sort of sunset colour, if that makes sense, and not like a normal dandelion clock, which is quite pale. These are almost like a sort of an off-white, sort of very light beige colour, really beautiful. Loads and loads of plants in there that are growing from seed, that have grown from seed. Ribwort, plantain, we've got the odd spear thistle coming up. Obviously spear thistle is very good for wildlife. They've got a buddleia that they're leaving, and they've got lots of yarrow coming up here. A couple of foxgloves as well, I should point out. There's a little foxglove in there and another foxglove somewhere over there that I saw recently. The rhododendron is coming out and the berberis is coming out. I'll tell you what we're doing with that border in a moment. And then along the edge here, they planted a really nice mix of trees and shrubs, mostly kind of elder, hawthorn. What else have we got in there? Viburnum lantana, the wayfaring tree. So they want this to be a real scrubby area. They're big birding enthusiasts, the clients. So yeah, they wanted this to really become potential for birds to nest in time. And then this back border they sowed with more wildflower seed last year, which this year it's really coming into its own. So we've got lots of these beautiful oxeye daisies, which at the moment seem to have lots of, or did have, yeah, lots of these very small bees. Now, those of you that are good with your bees, please do tell me what bee that is, if you are familiar with it. I'll try and hold the camera still. They are absolutely loving these ox eyes at the moment. There's loads of them. Another one over there, look. So yes, please do tell me what bees those are. We've got some red clover coming into flower down here. It has been flowering for a little while. Some kidney vetch behind it. And there's a really nice mix. And then over here, they have added a little bit of a brash pile and log stack, which has been visited by a wren. So that's been used by some of the birds to sort of peck insects out of. Wrens obviously very good at sort of skulking around little areas like that and picking out spiders and small invertebrates. The lawn they've cut twice this year. That's how poorly it has grown. And then I'm just going to zoom in on the back of the house, hopefully they don't mind, to show you another one of our very own Wildgy Garden, colour-coded. I didn't do that, the customers have done that. Bat box. So that is a west-facing bat box, good spot for bats, west or south-facing, plenty high enough, and that is hopefully going to be inhabited before too long, if it's not already being. Really brilliant to see that. I really like the way they've colour-coded that bat box, and it blends into the house almost seamlessly. The decking area they're going to sort out in time, reduce this back and pull up the slabs and put a bit of a pathway through here. So now I'm going to explain to you what we're going to be doing, or what I've been brought in to do. It was almost a year ago that I looked at this job actually, so it's been a while in the planning and the making, or coming into fruition at least. But we are of course going to be putting in a wildlife pond in the middle. So the wildlife pond is going to be a main central feature. It's going to provide a lot of water for bathing and for drinking for the local foxes, which come in when they're not going under the gate. They come in along the top of the wall there. So that's going to be a really good habitat for them, obviously for the birds to bathe and drink as well, and of course for all the obvious ones, frogs, toads, newts, of which there was a toad, I'm informed, recently under this planter. So they are in and around the area, which is brilliant to know. And then of course all the bats that are hopefully going to be using the bat box, they're going to be hunting over this pond for insects, mosquitoes and things. Many of you comment about mosquito larvae being a problem in ponds, but they're all part of it. They're part of that food chain, and bats can eat up to 2,500–3,000 insects such as mosquitoes a night. So mosquitoes are a great source of food, and the larvae when they're in a pond are really good for newts, they're good for frogs, they're good for other invertebrates, diving beetles, water boatmen, pond skaters, all these sorts of things will eat mosquito larvae. So yes, mosquitoes are a good thing. And of course we don't really have malaria in the UK, so that's always a bonus. So yes, there's going to be a big wildlife pond in the middle here as the main focal point, and then around the margins we're actually going to be removing an entire layer of slabs, or an entire row of slabs down here, to really extend this woodland border. So we're going to be planting, I don't know if you can hear that, pew pew, some siskins flying over. Come on, there, hope you can see that. It's a siskin, I promise. Yeah, nice bird, siskin. A bit like a sort of a green and black canary, so not really like a canary at all. Anyway, so pond in here, and then we're going to be putting in this this border of, we're going to be adding more log piles, we're going to be adding more shade tolerant plants in here, and yeah, I really can't wait to see how this develops. It's going to be a real nice feel to it. And then as it gets around this side into the sunnier side, we're going to be having a big herbaceous border around here of lots of less native but very, very vital and relevant food sources in terms of nectar source in particular for a lot of the insects. So big herbaceous border there, woodland border across the back, wildlife pond here, and then surrounding all of this is going to be a huge wildflower and grass area, which will mostly be mown along this section for access through, but we want to have this as a bit of a flowering nectar lawn. So it's going to be sown with lots of different species that are going to thrive in here and really give this the finishing touches to the garden. So I think really please leave a comment below if you agree with me that these clients really are doing everything they can. Oh, and there's a couple more things we're adding as well. We're also adding a couple of trees. We're going to be adding a rowan tree and a holly tree to this garden to try and improve the biodiversity even further. So very much looking forward to getting those in the garden. So yes, do leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on what you think the clients are doing. Hopefully you agree with me that they really are going all out to improve this area. This is about 35 square meters, so we're really aiming to get a lot of stuff in here. And yeah, I can't wait to get cracking with this. So stay tuned to the channel for a video coming very soon on the creation of this area, and hopefully I can then come back to film it for you all again soon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope this has given you some inspiration and some ideas for your own garden. Stay wild, stay tuned. I'll see you all very soon.